Welcome to another ABC Companies Grab and Go series. In this series, we're going to cover how to properly maintain your Eberspächer L3 heater on your 2025 Van Hool motor coaches. So the auxiliary heater plays a key role in passenger comfort and helping to keep your engine at operating temperatures. Before we begin, we want to go ahead and put on our safety equipment so we can de-energize the batteries. So step one, let's put on our safety glasses and our gloves. Once we get these gloves put on and we have our safety equipment on, we can go ahead and open up the battery door and disengage our battery so we can safely work on our heater. To open up that door, you're just going to go ahead and undo the latch, raise the door, and turn your batteries off by locking this out. Now that we're ready to work on the heater and we have our safety equipment on, we need to get access to our heater. So first, we're going to open up the small door next to the condenser, and this is going to be on the left side of the coach or the road side of the coach. So open this up and we'll see our auxiliary heater here. And then we want to go ahead and open up the condenser door. We do this so it gives me access to work on the heater so I'm not in a cramped location. So once this is open, we're going to swing out your condenser. You have two locks, one at the top and one at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and undo those locks by turning it and then swinging out the condenser. When you swing it out, there is a strap behind the condenser that keeps it from coming all the way out. Keep that there. That's for safety so we don't cause any damage to the condenser. Have access to the heater. Our first step is checking our electrical connections here on the side of the heater. What we're going to do is unplug each one of these connections and look for corrosion, also check for tightness and make sure there's no damage before we reinstall them. So now that we've done the first step and checked our electrical connections, we want to examine the heater for any damages. So we want to check the exchanger here in the back and the head before we open it up. And we're looking for any cracks or any hot spots in it that could cause an issue. So for our next step, now that we've inspected the outside of the heater, we want to go ahead and open up the heater so we can look on the inside. So you are going to need a 10mm socket and a ratchet. We're going to take off this nut here and the nut in the back. So let's go ahead and get started. The Eberspächer requires that the L3 hydronic heater be serviced at least once per year, ideally before the heating season begins. All maintenance steps shown in this video are taken directly from the manufacturer's scheduled service instructions. Now we have the two nuts off, we can go ahead and slide the head of the heater off so we can get inspect. So go ahead and grab it carefully and slide it off. Now once you have it off, there's a couple items here that we also want to inspect. Our first one being the nozzle. So when we inspect the nozzle, we don't want to wipe that nozzle off or touch it with our fingers as that will create damage. We also want to check our igniter. It's a high voltage igniter, so we want to make sure there's no short circuits on it or we had any arcs on it causing any damage. Once this looks good, we can set this off to the side and we can start inspecting the inside of our heater. So first we're going to pull the burner tube out, and this comes out very easy by just pulling it out. And what you're looking for inside of here is a carbon buildup. If there is a carbon buildup, we do need to clean this. When we clean this, we do not want to use any kind of chemicals to clean it as it could catch on fire and create an issue afterwards. A wire brush is handy. We also want to make sure there's no damage or any cracks to this. Once this has been inspected, if there is damage, we'd have to replace it, but we can go ahead and set this off to the side. Now that we've inspected our burner tube, we can go ahead and look inside the exchanger. What we're looking for in here is for any corrosion or any kind of buildup or debris or any coolant leak. We do need to clean all that out, but if there is a coolant leak, we need to inspect a little bit more and investigate to see where that coolant leak is coming from. If it's coming from the exchanger, we will need to replace that. So now that we've inspected everything, we can go ahead and put it together. Before I put it together, I do like to inspect my coolant hoses since this is wide open, along with all my coolant clamps to make sure nothing's come loose and everything is tight. Nothing's worse than having a breakdown on the side of the road, and if I can prevent that from doing that here, I'll take those extra steps. So once I've done that, I'm ready to go ahead and put the burner tube back in. So we'll go ahead and grab it. Now, when we go to put that back in, there is a little dent right here on the top of the burner tube. We do need to line that up with the top of the exchanger. If not, it will not seal correctly. So when you look inside your exchanger, you'll see the little divot here that will line up on. And then we can slide this in. Sometimes you do got to give it a little turn to get the line up correctly, but then you'll see that this line's flush, then you know you're sealed in there. So now that we have that lined up, we can go ahead and put the rest of the heater together. So let's grab our head and we're going to put that on, but first let's make sure our electrical connections are not in our way. So we'll pull them over and then line our head up. So there's 2 mounting holes or 2 mounting bolts for the head. We're going to just line those up and then slide this on. Once we have that in place, we can go ahead and start putting on our nuts. Now that I have the head back on, I want to use my tool to go ahead and snug up the nuts, but I am going to come back with my torque wrench and torque it to the prescribed amount. For safety reasons, we do not want to over torque because it could cause damage. Now that we've done our preheater maintenance, the last thing to do is go ahead and replace the fuel filter. Step 1 for that is go ahead and shut the fuel off by hitting your petcock all the way up. Once it's not in line with the fuel, it's cut off, and then we can remove the fuel filter and replace it. And this should be done once a year. So now we're complete. We can go ahead and close everything up and put it away. So first we want to go ahead and close our condenser. Make sure our locks are out. So the condenser locks in place. Go ahead and give it a pull. Then I know it's secure. Now we can go ahead and close the doors. I do like to double check my area to make sure I don't have a mess, any coolant or any fuel anywhere. I want to make sure that's clean. If that's good, then I can go ahead and close the door for the heater. And this concludes another ABC Company's Grab and Go series. In this series, we went over the L3 Eberspächer heater and how to properly maintain. If you have questions about this video or any grab and go video, please reach us 24/7.